And welcome back. This week we are meeting our candidates for the 2024 September 14 local council election. And it's a pleasure to welcome to our chat this afternoon is Cristie Yager. Cristie, hello.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute pleasure. So let's first of all find out who Cristie Yager is, because I know that you were sort of born and bred in the local area.
Yeah.
So you're a true Clarence Valley local.
Well, I think so. I think anyone who lives here and loves the place is a local. But yeah, my family is, spread out over the place for, forever. My nan, she was born in Maclean. My granddad was born in Brushgrove. They raised their family in Ulmarra. I grew up with stories of my dad, and a pet chook playing pranks on the Ulmarra locals. He'd run down the street and this rooster would chase him and everyone's trying to save him.
The rooster or your dad?
Trying to save my dad,
right.
This little fella, and then anyway, he'd walk home carrying the rooster under his arm. So the big iconic trees you see when you go into Ulmarra, the big four there, my grandfather planted those. So
fantastic.
That's kind of fun for me to just go, you guys are still here. And when I found my house for sale out there nearly 8 years ago now, I'd been looking around, as you do, and I went there and went, you know what, felt like home. Every afternoon after school, Dad would pick us up and drive us to the farm out at Gillett's Ridge, and we'd go the back roads. So it just felt like, I'd come back to where I should have been. So
that's
Ulmarra
fantastic. Is now home.
I don't think it could never have been. It just is, and it floods pretty bad. But you kind of deal, and I don't think I could leave there. No, yeah.
So why have you decided to put yourself in the lion's den, so to speak, of council?
Well, it was kind of a big decision, actually. I'd always thought about politics, and I always thought I'd do it sort of when I retired. Once I had ticked all those grown-up boxes, buy a house, raise your kids, have a career, all that. I thought, then it would be my time to jump in and fight on behalf of other people, not just me and my kids. And then I got that whole life short in my head, and I thought, stuff it, I'm going to actually go off-grid this year. I'm turning 40 this year, and I had my property on the market, got the perfect offer, and I couldn't do it. And I just took that as it's now. I'm gonna, before I get too old, before I can't, the energy or whatever it is. And I look at my kids all the time and I go, give us a decade, what's the world gonna be like? Like, someone has to do something. And I'm tired of every election coming up and I just see the different faces, but the same bloody stuff. It's all the same. And yes, I don't look the way a politician should. That's totally fine by me. And that was something I had to come to terms with, because I wasn't sure I could deal with the meanness, the judgment, the this, the that, and I can. I've been doing it now for 8 months and copping it here and there. And
well, I was going to say, you did start going to council meetings. That's where we first met.
Yeah.
And I could see you there on a monthly basis, writing notes, pages after pages after pages.
Yep.
Did you at any time during that period think to yourself, this is all too hard, how am I going to manage this and the family?
No, because it is hard. And I knew it was going to be hard. So I had to sort of just go, am I going to suck it up and deal and get it done? Or am I going to go, excuses like I had for so many years? I probably would have gone into this sooner if I had felt more strength, I think, in myself. I don't know whether it's just I needed to get older or experience more, life, because it's not always pleasant. And maybe I needed to have a few more, hard rounds to go, how much worse can it get? Maybe it can.
It's not a midlife crisis, is it?
Maybe.
Although you're only 40, not 50.
Yeah, well, might be a sign of when my time, I don't know. Well, I'm a very sentimental person. I look into things. I do think everything's connected, and I've tried to run this campaign, if that's what you want to call it, off intentions. And I believe in manifesting. So I think maybe that's what I've done, probably manifested hell, to be honest.
So let's talk about some of the things that you're running for.
Yeah.
Tell us about some of those things.
All right, so you want me to leak my... I've got a platform or a campaign thing to run on now.
Yeah, share that.
Do I have... Oh, I've been trying to wait a little bit longer because, as you know, I did start so long ago and I didn't have that. I didn't have the platform. I just knew people need to be happier. People aren't okay. We need to rebuild our community. And I thought I could, research and learn how to do that and what we needed to do that. So I've sort of gone backwards, I suppose. Everyone else has come out and gone, well, this is what I want to do. Actually, no, not so much. I think anyway, everyone's doing their own thing. But I'm now at the end now, and I think I have got promises I'd like to make. And I think we need to start with the foundation. Foundation we need back is that trust in our council. Our government is supposed to work for us. It doesn't feel like that. And nobody thinks that they're being heard. We need to go old school. We need to bring back the community hall meetings where people can front up to the decisions they've made. And I've found, when things are good, things are good. People are paying excessive rates. Everything in life costs a lot. But when we've got council and councillors that don't seem to think it's a big deal and that it's just the price of living in a beautiful place, that doesn't sit well with me. We need to have quality services, decent infrastructure. We need to see where the money we are investing in our home, where is that going? And we're struggling all the time. So I want our councillors to build a team, and I want them to be a strong team, and I want them to have the guts and the backbone and the metaphorical balls to stand there in front of our community and face the decision. You call it backlash or abuse, whatever you want to call it. But council and councillors should be, the bigger person. Put on your big boy pants and stand there and go, okay, you're unhappy. Let's find out why. Because it's often not the potholes. It's not the potholes. That's just where you're focusing your attention because there's other things behind that. And those are the things that council and councillors need to learn so that they can address that.
So is the town hall meeting the right place for that? Or should the community be able to just call their local councillor and talk to them one-on-one?
I think they should be able to have that option. But we do live in a day and age where it's not always a safe space to do that. Privacy nowadays, especially with social media, who actually has genuine privacy anymore? And I know that very well. I've literally just spilled my guts pretty much everywhere and said, look, have at it. You're not going to get any surprises here. But that's been my choice. And I think if you resonate with a counsellor and you think you're going to be heard by that person, give them a call. Let them hear you. But perhaps because I'd also like to bring back, we have a lot of issues where developments, contentious issues, and you have councillors that have never seen the area. They've never seen or stepped foot there to look for themselves and find out, what it is that people are up in arms for. So that's an issue, I think. So I'd love for councillors to get on board and support the idea that we should be going and physically standing there, seeing and hearing from people that are in that area, finding out why. We actually have experts and professionals and just people with an incredible amount of knowledge living everyday lives in the valley, and they are just shut down and not listened to all the time. The people who care the most, literally care the most, they're going to want the best outcomes for all sorts of things, and we really need to work out how we're going to harness that. That's bloody free, free help, essentially.
In regards to the actual developments and so forth, I think everyone knows the developments that you're sort of speaking about in general terms. But if the council have already given the tick of approval because it's ticked all the boxes for the law.
It's hard, isn't it?
How can we justify going to the Land and Environment Court to defend that if the DA has been knocked back but it ticked all the boxes, and then it's more cost to the ratepayer?
Look, I hate to say it, but in the air of honesty, I think there's a lot of things that just will not be wound back now, and they just cannot. And we might have to just suck it up and go, this was a crap decision, and we need to make sure it doesn't happen again. And that's where the people power comes in. There are so many different groups up and down the area. Development in behind the sports field in Maclean, not okay. We need to do something about that. You know, developing the waterfront of Iluka, that doesn't make sense. There's plenty of other areas that are zoned for housing, but that particular housing in this day and age it doesn't sit well with the locals, and it doesn't come across as genuinely seeking housing. It comes across as you just want to make some big bucks because that's a beautiful prime location. You know, and then to ignore the people who live in these areas and have done so for years, if not generations. You know, the trust, communication, faith in our government, and I hate to say it, I'd lost that, and that's why I was disappearing. But I know that if I care this much and I do disappear, where are the people who are going to care as much? Where are they coming from? It's not working. It's not working.
Are you afraid, though, that if you do get elected, you're only one voice?
Yep.
You've got to have the support of 8 other councillors to get things through, or the majority, I should say, to get things through. I mean, you've seen what Councillor Greg Clancy has gone through when he's tried to get something done, or when other councillors have, stood for something. Councillor Bill Day, for example, with regards to tourism. Are you afraid that you may not get the support?
I am 100% afraid. I'm pretty sure that may be the case. I've seen some candidates over this journey sort of slowly warm to the ideas that, I feel like I've like I said, spilled my guts for so long now. I think it's been a benefit to other councillors and candidates to sort of see where the ebbs and flows in the community have come from and what it is that they're backing in the things I've proposed. And so they are sort of maybe perhaps jumping on board a little bit and softening towards those different things that they're not the usual things that people run a campaign on. But look, we need a change. I don't think that's a secret. And I am afraid that I will be some weird little thing stuck in a beige box. And I've got to figure out how I'm going to poke holes in that, because that's not been done before. But we're not going to get anything different if someone doesn't try. And you know what? I might not be able to do anything if elected in the next 4 years, but I can tell you there's going to be 5 bloody people who are going to run next time and go, this weirdo showed us how. That's what I'm doing.
Are you running with Yamba Can?
No, I'm not. I'm 100% independent. It's cost me a fortune.
But you're passionate. You're very passionate.
God, yeah.
And that's what the community needs, is passion.
Look, it's true. I've become more and more determined the more people I've met. And yeah, I'm afraid, and I'm not that brave about it, but if I don't do it, no one else will. For the right reasons, okay? That's where I'm coming from. I look at my kids, and I look at your kids, and I look at everyone's kids and go, 10 years' time, what's their life going to be like? I don't know if I'll be able to hand my kids the keys to my house, because I might have to bloody sell the things so that I can make sure they've got food for the next, I've got bloody 23-year-olds. She could come back all the time.
Yeah.
We've got such a beautiful area, people-wise and environmentally, and I feel we're being exploited in so many ways. And enough's enough.
You've said before that you need a change. Are you suggesting that the 9 councillors that were there, we've got 5 of those that are running now, do we need to clean the slate clean? Do we need to get rid of the 5 current councillors that are putting their hand up again and start from scratch? Are you suggesting that that's what the community needs to do as far as their votes?
I won't go that far, and I'm not putting out any how to votes, nothing like that. I trust people are a little bit more insightful and want to do their homework and find out how we can make a change too. I do think we need the experience in there. I mean, I know, from that first meeting, that was foreign language to me. And it has taken me this long to feel like I understand a third of it. It's a long, slow, and then I'm a hardcore studier. I'll research everything to the bones. And still, it's complicated, and I think we do need some experience depending on the experience, I think. I don't know if you could just sweep the lot out and start from scratch. And I think we need to look beyond, deeper than just the councillors. The council itself, Machine Side, is a big organisation, and we need to know. I think we just all need to be informed. Community needs to be informed. Councillors need to be informed. Is that going to happen? I have no idea. But I will annoy the crap out of people until I find out. Oh, it's legit.
Well, if there's a gold star to be given out, gold star for passion goes to Cristie Yager, that is for sure.
Oh, I've been a hermit for so long because this stuff impacts me. It's hard to care. But I'm determined, and I know I'm strong, and I've been through worse than bloody council, that's for sure. I think we need to fight, and I think we need a change, and if not for us, then to just set the way for the future. Our environment's going to crap. I mean, we're sitting here, second day of spring? Worried about bushfires. It's insane, There's a lot of worries, and I have a lot of concerns, and I keep getting told to just tone it down, focus on council. I'm doing that. But we do need to look at bigger outside factors as well, because our LGA is connected to we do filter out. Can we not be a role model for others and get the ball rolling? Something needs to happen.
Just to sum things up.
Oh, can we do that?
Why should people vote for Cristie Yager?
I'm not telling anybody to vote for me, and I'm not convincing anyone of anything. I think that's been a very big issue as well. We need to think for ourselves. We need to take a little bit of responsibility and go, hey, we're the voters. Me too. You too. We're all the voters. We actually do have a bit of sway. We have some power, and we've been perhaps shown that we shouldn't use it, or turned away from using it because it's easier just to go with the usual. And everyone is going to go in there. I would love to see the little pictures that are putting on those ballot papers, to be honest. I mean, I think that would be an interesting job. But
so I guess you're saying you want people to make a vote and make the vote count.
I do. I want them to make the vote count. I want them to know that they have to vote for 5. The amount of people who've gone, I'm picking you and only you, and I'm going, it's not going to help. You need to pick 5, or that's not going to count, Yeah, I want people to be informed, and I want people to make an educated choice. And if they can't do that, then pick the weirdo with the face tattoo. Oh, honestly.
Cristie, thank you so much for your passion for the community and having a chat to us today.
Oh, you are so welcome. Thanks for having me and dealing with that.